Let's take a look at where we are. This is, I just want to know who LeBron's going to pick. Can we tell you? I mean, that's going to be some mama drama, but this is a pretty good group, I would say. The year that Paul George has had, obviously Steph. James, you can catch the Sekou MVP ladder at Mondays, is that right?
Fridays.
Fridays.
Come on,
Fridays. I only get it on Monday. Fridays, you can get that. You look at the reserves, and these are how we see the group. We all agree on most of the players. I want to get to a couple where we've got some differences. When you look at Tobias Harris, Sekou, now I've been pushing this. Now, he's a Long Island native, as am I, so maybe that's part of it. But he has been the constant glue for that team, really since the trade was made a year ago. How legitimate of a shot do you think he has, considering the numbers, to make the team, even if you and I think maybe he deserves it?
Yeah, I think it's tight because the glut of talent in the Western Conference and the fact that a lot of people will tell you Lou Williams is the guy, if you're going to pick a Clipper to put in this game, would be the, be the player that you would select for that spot. I just feel like you got to reward a guy who's played as consistently well as he has. Early in the year, when they were in the number one spot in the Western Conference and everybody's feeling great about him, it was in large part because of what he'd done. And he's continued to play that well. I don't think his game has dropped off at all from what we've seen from him earlier in this season.
Coach, out west, Utah has played way better than where they currently are seated. Now, their schedule was the most difficult, gotten easier. We're seeing that even out. A lot of people say Gobert should be the all-star. You've got Donovan Mitchell, who's been brilliant as of late. Why should the Spider be in the game?
The turnaround with their team, and as you mentioned, in the beginning, what a brutal away schedule. They had played, 10 or 12 more away games, and they had home games. You knew at some point it's going to even up. And their winning has gone right along with Donovan's improved play. He started out not the same guy that he ended last season as. People going like, how good. He got it back together. He realized whatever it was that was not right with him early on, part of it being on the road. He got back in front of his home fans. He felt better. The team felt better. I felt it was because of him taking over and getting back to that next step of where he was playing early in the year is the difference for their turnaround. And I think Gobert could be there also.
Let's go to the east side, see where the starters are for the All-Star game. And look, Giannis, El Capitan. You've got Kyrie, Kemba. So good to see that. This will be such a great ovation for him. And hopefully they push and get him an opportunity to go get that MVP at home. You look at the reserves. We agree on a lot of this, including some of the names in the wild card spots at the bottom. And I think Beal is probably going to end up getting in and should, which we've got him in. Vooch is a guy. Let's talk about him because Sekou, there's twofold with Vooch. One, clearly deserves to be. Do you think he'll make it? Two, what uniform will he be wearing shortly after? Because, right, those are the two questions with him right
Sure, and I certainly think he's played to the level where he has earned a spot on the All-Star team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You can't look at the productivity, the way his game's evolved, the impact he's had for this team, and discount all that he's done. But you're right. He's going to be one of those guys who's in the crosshairs at the trade deadline, no question about it. There are contenders that could use a player that brings all of the different weapons that Vucevic does. And I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the deadline's going to play out, obviously. But he's going to be a guy who's, I guarantee you, his name is brought up all day long leading up to the deadline.
Coach, Dwayne Casey may not still be in Toronto. He's in Detroit, but the imprints are there. One of the big ones, all those minutes in the trust he gave Pascal Siakam a year ago, that has now led him to this version. Why should he be an all-star? How impressed have you been with the growth you've seen, Coach, here this season from him?
The way he's played, besides Lowry, to me, taking a step back early in the year to let the new guys, Kawhi coming in, the growth of Siakam. And this young man hasn't stopped. He has been consistent from the beginning. Obviously, they've been right at the top of the league as far as record goes. And I think he has such tremendous upside because he just doesn't do it on one end of the floor. He's capable of being one of those two-way players. He gets a whole lot done.